You will, while sleeping, eat 70 assorted insects and 10 spiders. Nom. The cigarette lighter was invented before the first conventional friction-based match. What? The reason there is a 57 on the Heinz ketchup bottle is because Harry Heinz saw 57 as a lucky number. Money notes are not made from paper, but they're actually mostly made from a special blend of cotton and linen, abaca, and other textile fibers. There is a Superman reference in every episode of Seinfeld. More than 350 people who were originally scheduled to be on the 4 airliners hijacked in the 9/11 attacks either changed their plans and canceled their reservations, in many cases at the last minute, or simply failed to show up for the flights on the morning of September 11th, 2001. Tea is said to have been discovered in 2737 BC by a Chinese emperor when some tea leaves accidentally blew into a pot of boiling water. A person can live without food for about a month, but only a week without water. After following the release of Rocky IV, a joke was making the rounds in Hollywood that Rocky Balboa had run out of earthly opponents and he would have to fight an alien in the 5th installment of his boxing series. Screenwriters took the inspiration from this joke and wrote the screenplay for Predator. That's awesome. I love that. Drafts of the Declaration of Independence were written on hemp paper. A skunk is able to spray at a distance of 10 feet with accuracy. An elephant's tooth can weigh as much as 9 pounds. Cats have lived with people for 7,000 years, and they're still our buddies. Houseflies hum in the key of F. Sloths take up to a month to digest their meals. The turkey is one of the most famous birds in North America. Guinea pigs and rabbits don't sweat. Young beavers stay with their parents for the first 2 years of their lives before going out on their own to get a job, an apartment, a girlfriend. Canis lupus is the scientific name for a gray wolf. A flamingo can only eat when its head is upside down. Flamingos are weird. In 1955, the richest woman in the world was Mrs. Hetty Green Wilkes, who left an estate of $95 million in a will that was found in a tin box with 4 pieces of soap. Amazon Eve, the world's tallest model, was born male. In 1973, Marlon Brando refused the Oscar for his role in The Godfather. Tommy Lee Jones hates clothing labels. While filming Men in Black 2, Jones's publicist told the crew to remove all labels from his shirts and costumes, otherwise Jones would leave the set. You can't block Mark Zuckerberg on Facebook. He just needs all those friends. Peter Dinklage has been a vegetarian his whole life. On Game of Thrones, he's not eating meat, but tofu instead. Mark Wahlberg only spent 45 days in jail for beating up 2 Vietnamese men in 1988, for which he was charged with attempted murder and convicted of assault. To show their support for the civil rights movement, the Beatles refused to play for segregated audiences. Daniel Radcliffe was allergic to Harry Potter's glasses because they were made out of nickel. So, Daniel got a new pair of glasses made from hypoallergenic material. Despite his songs being riddled with profanity, Eminem doesn't allow profanity at home. The modern pizza was invented in Naples, Italy. Alligators have been around for about 150 million years. It is believed that only 2% of the world's population has green eyes. Weird. Hattie McDaniel was the first African-American woman to win an Academy Award for her role as Mammy in the 1939 film Gone with the Wind. The first human-made object to reach the surface of the moon was the Soviet Union's Luna 2 mission on September 13, 1959. A sperm whale can eat a ton of fish and squid every day, and that's why they're not allowed at sushi buffets. Pope John Paul II was an exorcist and carried out at least 2 exorcisms. The first text message was sent in 1992 from Neil Papworth, a former developer at SEMA Group Telecoms. How can you tell that a pearl is real? Well, rub the pearls lightly along the biting edge of your upper front teeth, and if they feel slightly rough, sandy, or gritty, it's likely that they are cultured or natural pearls. But if they feel smooth or glassy, they're probably just imitations. Alan Rickman was a graphic designer before he became an actor. Oh, we miss him. You cannot hear any sound in space, hence why no one can hear you scream. Koalas are not bears, but marsupials. The Bellagio in Las Vegas opened in 1998 and cost $1.6 billion to build. Sailfish are the fastest fish in the ocean and can jump out of the water at speeds of 68 miles per hour. Meow. Psychologist William Stern first coined the term intelligence quotient in the early 1900s, which is now abbreviated as IQ. Ding ding. The 3-foot-long tusks of a walrus are actually their canine teeth. Jimmy Carter was the first US president to be born in a hospital. Weird. September 16th is the day babies are most commonly delivered, and it's believed that most of these tykes were conceived around December 24th. Merry Christmas indeed. Dentists from ancient Greece used stingray venom as an anesthetic. Cassie Nelson was originally an actress for the Disney Channel before becoming the porn star Scentsy Pearl. The snowy owl can eat around 1,600 lemmings a year, equaling to roughly 3 to 5 lemmings per day. The Guinness Book of World Records reported that Carl Witt earned his doctorate of philosophy at the age of 12 from the University of Gießen in the 1800s. Well, we feel unaccomplished. Have you ever wondered what happens when a queen bee dies? Well, the worker bees create a new female by feeding her royal jelly that will make her fertile. Thomas McKean was the last member of the Second Continental Congress to sign the Declaration of Independence. Snoring is approximately 10 times more common in men than in women. The bizarre-looking coelacanth fish was discovered in 1938 after it was thought it went extinct with the dinosaurs. Nancy Reagan became friends with a psychic named Joan Quigley, and even had a special phone installed in the White House and Camp David so she could call Joan as needed, because psychics are real. Bengal tigers can eat up to 60 pounds of meat in a single night. Sarah Michelle Gellar clips coupons. Smart lady. During the mid-2000s, McDonald's paid rappers to write songs about Big Macs for radio release. I'm loving that. For a century, the flag of the tropical Turks and Caicos Islands mistakenly featured an igloo. At one point in the 1990s, half of all CDs were stamped with AOL branding. What a time to be alive. The 1788 Battle of Caranzabes saw the Austrian army mistakenly fight and defeat a contingent of its own infantry. Wah, wah. High heels were originally worn by men as a form of riding footwear, helping them secure their stance in stirrups to help shoot arrows more efficiently. Play-Doh was originally intended to be a wallpaper cleaner until the sister-in-law of one of its creators gave it to children at the nursery school she ran as a toy, and the world has never been the same. It is recommended that anyone who decides to visit Antarctica during the wintertime should have their appendix removed before their trip. That's a kind suggestion. The 380-mile river-to-river road in Iowa was built in just 1 hour by 10,000 local farmers in 1910. That's amazing! The city of Cincinnati commissioned a subway system that began development prior to the Great Depression. To this day, it remains partially completed, but never used. One of the first people to ever survive a trip over Niagara Falls later died by slipping on an orange peel. Isn't that supposed to be a banana peel? Sweden holds an annual rabbit show jumping competition called Kanin Hoppning, and we are sure it is adorable. Studies suggest that baby chickens are probably smarter than baby humans. Bald eagles are known to sometimes mate while airborne in flight. Talk about a mile-high club. Like humans, male kangaroos will strike poses to accentuate their biceps in their arms as a way of impressing potential female mates. Welcome to the gun show. Alfred Hitchcock's classic horror film Psycho was the first film to feature a toilet flushing on screen, and we've never looked back. The famous lineup scene in The Usual Suspects was originally scripted to have the actors involved play it straight, but was changed when the actors couldn't keep a straight face on account of Benicio del Toro's persistent flatulence. The rock and roll hit song Wild Thing was written by Chip Taylor, the uncle of Angelina Jolie. It's a small world. Tom Siestas set a world record in 2012 when he held his breath underwater for 22 minutes and 22 seconds. As Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz, Judy Garland was paid 6 times less than her male co-stars Ray Bolger and Jack Haley. The actors that played the Munchkins, meanwhile, were each paid less than the dog that played Toto. Queen Elizabeth II owns a drive-thru McDonald's located near Windsor Castle. Woody Harrelson's father was an infamous hitman, an organized crime figure who was convicted of assassinating a federal judge. In order to keep warm, an impoverished Pablo Picasso burned many of his paintings. Ooh, tragic. Taylor Swift's first job was to rake the praying mantis pods off of Christmas trees on her tree farm in Pennsylvania. Jazz great Fats Waller was once kidnapped at gunpoint and made to perform live at Al Capone's birthday party. Happy birthday to you. Tom Monahan purchased his brother's 50% stake in their Domino's pizza chain in exchange for a used Volkswagen Beetle. Counting among actor Billy Bob Thornton's long list of fears is a fear of airplanes, bright colors, and antique furniture. What is going on in his head? Anne Hodges remains the only person in history to have been hit by a meteorite, having been hit in the thigh while napping in her Alabama home in 1954. That fact is out of this world. Martin Luther King Sr. was once held hostage by none other than a young Samuel L. Jackson. Say what again? And there you go, folks. You are now 30 facts smarter. Is it smarter, or is it just more random, useless knowledge to rattle around in there? Who knows? What I do know is that you should check out these other videos, and maybe subscribe to The Richest for more awesome videos all the time. Thanks!